like I really don't belong. I can't explain it. When I close my eyes, I see a strange reality. Am I dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? You wake up feeling like you really don't belong. You can't explain it, that when you close your eyes you see familiarity. Are you dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? Hello there, darlings. Okay, we are back with air conditioner from a very hot summer-like day. It is a very busy day. Today is the No Kings protest day. Today is the big sing out in America, in New York. Let's see. And it's the new moon. Okay, before I start doing the wet felting and building the next pile of colors to go here, we are going to get this started because I want this dry by tomorrow night and tomorrow afternoon, really. And this is going to take a while. This is going to be a gift to our bingo game people. No, a prize, my gift. I'm gifting it to the prize table. No, I found the brush a great way to go. Oh, I need a jar of plain water. That's what I was missing last time. Okay. So, I need a sip of. I hope you have a good cup of whatever you like to have. Sunday afternoon. Today, I was watering the garden this morning instead of starting here early because we've got stuff out there that we don't have enough people to cover what's really needed to be done. Now everything is properly wetted down. You'll see that this is an 8-sided figure underneath. So it won't look like a jar, even though I'm using a jar. Now, as it happens, this jar is very valuable, as I cannot afford to buy more of that spaghetti sauce brand. It was delicious. I enjoyed it very much. But, not the price. like putting a pillow into it. I'm glad this stuff doesn't smell bad. There it is. Well, there's nothing I can do but put it aside so it can dry. There you go, tree. Garden. Sunrise or sunset, depending on your disposition. All right. Okay. Stuck to the bottom. I'm gonna go put it where it can catch a breeze. Okay, I can't wait to see how that turns out. Okay, so I already put fiber on the other side, which is meant to be the outside. This is supposed to be the inside of the lantern. And I'll leave it the way it is. So let's go ahead and get the party started. And where are all my towels? I know I washed a whole bunch of them last week. Oh, here they are. Massage. I saw what I thought was a funny and adorable video. They have a pole dancer, a young man, dancing at home with his dogs on the pole. Dogs clearly wanted to be involved in having come from a pack of 5 dogs. They want to go on swings, they want to go down slides, they want to do anything their human does, preferably in the lap or the arms of that human. And I know because we have black labs, and they definitely had to be part of it. Okay, let's see, we need some more magenta. We need some more orange. We have purple over there and some yellow. Okay. Here is our beautiful purple. We don't want too much because it'll get too dark. And I already have this Corriedale from the other side. So I'm not going to make very much of this at all. I just want some to batten it down, kind of even it out a bit. Just become one. So this stuff feels so magical. It's like all this loose stuff ends up being a fabric when you're done. Okay, oh, maybe that's even too much here. I'll go with this lighter stuff. This is the 19 micron thick merino. Way later. Come, magic Nyanda. This must have been the tail end. Oh, I think that will do it. Of course, if I'm wrong, we know where to go. I hope this was the right outline. Can't tell now that it's wet. Oh, we're gonna find out. It seems logical that I would use that because it's the one I've got the most of, not counting the superfine 19 micron one I'm saving for a project. I used to have a hobby. It wasn't a huge hobby, but I was living in the country and the natural world was the most enticing of all. I collected spider webs. Not with spiders in them. I didn't take away somebody's home or food. Abandoned webs, which happen surprisingly frequently in the woods, possibly because the, the predator becomes the food and, empty web syndrome. Anyway, as you might imagine, collecting a spider web is a rather delicate process. And that's what this reminds me of. Although this is actually more forgiving than a spider web. So the last layer. Up. Okie dokie. Hmm. Looks like I'm gonna need a little more. Quite enough. Just a couple pinches short. Luckily, we're well equipped with this. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Come here. I can make a purse for this dress with these colors. I think that does it. I'll thinner on the top. All right. It's a plastic. Aloha. Well, I'm glad to see you're alive. I didn't get a response with the last food post. I thought maybe something happened with your neighbor. I have to say that in one meal, I became a fan of cooked radishes. That is the most surprising flavor change. And cooks just like potatoes, softer. So like you can get them brown on the outside and they're still soft on the inside. They're really good. A lot is going on here. And a Sunday too. Stuff you have no choice but to be involved with, I gather. Okay. Does Hawaii have its own daytime soap? Because it sounds like you live in one. Exactly. They're out of your control. Get out of the way and let them resolve themselves. I submitted my outline for doing a workshop here for anybody who lives here. I'll find out this week if I have a problem with it. Slowly work the water out of this. Well, considering the issues of fights, vandalism, and the bus station, I'm glad that they have finally addressed it. As long as they don't mistake a resident for a problem person or get rough with anybody who doesn't deserve it. We don't have any such security here. A good thing to be known by. I think they know me as the artist, but also the teacher. But I don't know what else. Here and there, possibly the bitch. So I don't cause any problems, so that's probably not a real issue. All right. We have this felting together. Here it'll be cut and called. There's the light. I gave my friend some pre-felts, these little bits, and you can cut them into different shapes and then felt them onto your needle felt ends. And she did it with a few. She made some backup stuff. It's cool. But this is too thin to mess with. Template. There. Stuff is so delicate. When it starts out. Yep, just gonna make sure this is well felted before I start taking it apart. So how is your garden today? They loving the manure? Oh my God. Getting fat? Or he's had his last growth spurt? Don't leave it out. When they get bored, they eat. That's how so many indoor cats end up with problems. My cats always had clean water. They weren't all that crazy about the dry food, so I left a little bit of that out in case they actually were hungry, because they do like to nibble, but not a lot. And they got wet food twice a day, a small amount. But it was always the same time every day. We had habits. We had dogs and cats living together, so we had to have rules. Larger in size, yeah. Well, if he's just getting larger in size, like his bones are growing, then he needs the food. And it's not too much. It's just when he starts getting fat. That's bad for their health. That's like Tasha. Tasha never ate too much. Tasha was a slender cat her entire life. She lived to about 17. Leo was 21 pounds. He was a Maine Coon, so he was a big cat in general. Not like I've seen some Maine Coons in videos online. He was more like son of a Maine Coon, not a purebred wild cat. See, Tasha was getting Manushka. Manushka was not fat. He was a big cat. And definitely bones. He had very long legs and an extra long tail, extra big ears. Got him to almost 15 before he had cancer. Okay, now keep in mind, I'm working on the inside out. So this gets turned inside out to see the real pattern. I tried my hand at making a pattern on one side of this with orange viscose. Okay, we're gonna squeeze some of this water out. Now, my son, they've got two cats. They were both rescues. They've been severely, well, they said not abused, but they act like abused cats. And apparently their feeding was never right because, no, they needed rescuing, let's put it that way. So they rescued these two cats. They had nothing but health issues, very expensive health issues. And one poor guy, I kept losing control of his bowels everywhere. But it was because he had Gardia, and that meant a lot of Sterlings in the house. So after they finally went all through all that, he developed kind of an eating disorder where he just wanted to eat. And they couldn't find out why, because he had a healthy diet and everything was checking out, like he's getting good nutrition, what the hell? And they had to get him a special feeder. He wears a tag that only that tag will release food for him to eat. And they can dial up how much food is released. But his brother also has a little eating problem, and he keeps trying to get in there. That's why they had to get their own tags. It's been funny in the way a stranger can laugh at that, but real life, you know, the cats have to be kept on their diets because they get sick otherwise. And what they have to go through to make sure they don't eat each other's food or eat too much is like, this is like a whole story here. Michael and the two cats. The brother's cat. And they're big. Also big. I don't think they were quite as big when they were first adopted, but they take good care of the cats. And they put on weight, etc. Well, we certainly are making a lot of foam. That's what we're trying to get out of this, which is so it's good. We just have to wipe it all down. Look at that. It's happening. So what's your breakfast today, Maui? I had a craving today for cereal. I had a cereal morning. That does not happen often. Oh, yummy. Putting anything in them? Or your basic? I've had potato pancakes on my mind. I make them with potato flakes. I can't count on getting good potatoes. Too great. But potato flakes are consistent, and you can throw anything in there that you want. All right. We're going to go a little hardcore in a minute. We'll just go down. It's shrinking nicely. You can see the template. Maybe I'll do a potato waffle again. Just as easy. Less fat. I've got a non-stick waffle maker. So there's oil in the batter of pancake mix, whatever you use. You don't really have to add fat. Now this is supposed to go over a vase. So I'm not sure if I want to felt it any further, because that's going to make it definitely change its shape. Well, let's try it. I've got the vase right here. I'm healing the edges first. Here is yeast. Yep, good source of B vitamins. I used to like to add like almond flour, sliced almonds. Yeah, I used to do nuts. Bring up the protein profile. Okay, let's make my hands less slippery. here. Okay, let's move that out. Just let it develop a little bit of memory before I peel it off, wash it, and then use some starch to make it hold the shape. So I tried to make a heart with the viscose, and it worked. Looks like it felted pretty well. I could get more texture out of them if I continue felting them. Well, I'm felting it now. That's what this does. I'm trying to guide the fibers in the direction I want them to go. Okay, I'm holding. I'm getting there. It takes a while to get all the air out of the fibers. Yeah. So I think you have the air out, you find another bubbly. And definitely some similarities to working with clay. We are going to create a little light window. looking down too long. Gonna have to have the soap washed out of it anyway. We'll just let it sit for now. So what I'm going to try and create here is a heart-shaped window, because the lamp is going to go down here in this part of the lamp, the lantern, and I want it to be, you know, a light. So let's put this away. What a wonderful world it could be. Okay. We're going to let this dry for a while. So we have a heart within a heart. And my favorite bird of paradise colors. Naked Men Wrestling Day. What channel are you watching? Today is Sing Out for Freedom and Against Kings and Tyrants in New York today. Today is the new moon. Set your intentions for the next month. What do you want to see? This is too soggy. I'm going to hang it up and get a dry towel. Well, it's a good thing I'm doing laundry tomorrow. Clean and dry. Oh, I did see a clip that cracked me up because I didn't know what it was. And then when I found out what it was even worse than what I thought it was. I didn't have the sound on, and I saw these two things flying across the front lawn of the White House. And they were like doing this thing, and I went, did they just fire a couple of turkeys out of a freaking cannon? What the hell is going on here? And then I put the sound on. That's like motorcycles jumping the front lawn of the White House. It's like, fuck those people. I mean, you couldn't get trashier than that. That is the trashiest trash. So basically, anybody tuning in to watch or going there, I don't want them in my social circle. Today is the No Kings Protest Day all over the country. So, while they're all let them eat cake, we're getting ready to take it all down. And they're lucky there is a justice system, however crooked at the moment. Otherwise, most people could be facing the same fate as Marie Antoinette and her family and friends. Oh, I don't even ask that question. I know he's the biggest asshole in the country. Only ones arguably bigger are still supporting him. So, you know. So, hey. Inflation under Obama got down to 1.6%. Now under Trump, it's 6%. If only he was less jealous and more, I'd like to be like him. Instead of, what did he do that I can undo? Quick. Well, I still have some power. He's one of those, anything he can do, I can do better. I can do better than anything he can do. Only he being what he is, being na 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 na, would have to be part of his song. You know, whatever it is the 4-year-olds do. And they think they got one over on mom or a sibling. So glad I wasn't brought up in that family. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no. Well, I was in school, we had a word for those people. It began with an R. It wasn't Republican. Now it's too impolite and somewhat inaccurate to use it. So we'll just leave it at the white trash. But in the true Southern woman way, go, God bless their hearts. Okay, huh. Funny you should say that. My algorithm gave me an interview with Billy Mooney. We talked about the Twilight Zone episodes. So. Scared little bastard, wasn't he? Good actor. He hated Alfred Hitchcock. Hitchcock did not have much patience for actors, especially children. Well, sweetie, you magnify what you pay attention to. So pick a better episode or a different one altogether, different series. I like Bewitched. I feel the same way. I grew up with them and I believed anything was possible. And then I grew older and proved it. Anything is possible. Now, I like watching those reruns. I don't have any I Dream of Jeannie. I should get that. Right now, I'm investing in Wildo. I really like that because it opens up possibilities. And while you're watching it, you're not thinking about what's going on in reality. Because if you pay attention to the reality and it makes you unhappy, you're magnifying what you don't like. So a good way to take your mind off it is through fantasy, um, gameplay that takes your mind away from, unfortunately, you're into a violent game and that's not going to really do you any good, but you're into it and you're really good at it. So, of course, why would you stop? But it's not focusing you on peace. If we truly want peace, we have to start by putting down the weapons of war. We have to stop associating with them and glorifying war, glorifying sacrifice. You're good if you do this. God will reward you. It's like, don't you want this world to be better while you're here, while your children are here, while your friends are here? If you want it to be better for everybody, you have to commit to putting down your arms. And humans are so terrified of doing that. Like right now, the terror of that is because that's what the government would love, so they can run us over. That used to be they're going to do that, they're going to do that, and we're going, no. It's like, oh, but you're Republican. Yes, that is what you want to do. So you do need to stay abreast of what's going on, but that doesn't mean sit there and let it get you down. You take what action you can. Right now, the best thing people can do is make sure people are registered to vote and convince them to get their butts to the polls in person instead of mailing their votes in, and vote. Because if we don't get our democracy back in November, we may never, well, not never, but it'll take a civil war to change it, and we don't need that. When you know how the universe works constantly with you, it is the age of magic right now. Not the golden age of television, but in real life. We create our realities. So if we don't like something, well, if we don't do something about it, who is? All right, how am I going to get all three of these? I need to make a green. I need to make something green. Well, I didn't grow up with Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny because they were not in my traditions, but my classmates did, so I heard all about them early on. Loved the Flintstones, but I'm older than you, so Yogi Bear. Don't forget the Jetsons, the opposite of the Flintstones, right? Of course, we had Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, Porky Pig. A large animal cast. That's not even touching Disney. Some I never got into. I was definitely not a Winnie the Pooh kid. By the time I was introduced to Winnie the Pooh, I was already reading way above my level, and I just found it, I dismissed it as something for very small children, like my little sisters. And although people loved the voice of Winnie the Pooh, I did not. His voice got on my nerves. Now, I really enjoyed all of the fantasy figures in one of the modern Santa Claus, the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. Well, the Bundys were working low class. She didn't work at all. She just spent money, and he was a shoe salesman. So, oh. All right, let's see if this is going to work. Let's go with 36, which are really yank some of those threads down. Oh my, yeah. We're going to lose some of the nips. because they don't felt, even though they are actually wool. That's right. Start curling. That's a good sign. Oh, good. Yes, got some that went all the way through. Ah, darling. Greetings, grandson. How art thou this day? See, I put lots of these here because I already assumed most of them were going to fall off in the processing. That's okay. We don't need a bunch of these or any because I've got options. Spearing them. It is kind of like a harpoon, a barbed harpoon. Tell me what's going on. Oh, exciting. How are you feeling? I can't wait to hear how it goes, but I already know it's going to be great. If it feels like you never said goodbye, that could be a friendship for life. Check in with each other the rest of your lives. You know, he's one of the ones that came down here with you. One of your buddies from the other side. Oh, good. You did the right thing. Cope with the stress. Don't try to suppress it. Only makes it worse. Okie dokie doc. Cool. And what do you plan to do there? Tomorrow you're taking the train to go where you go to uni. Ah, be prepared. Lovely. A very responsible young man. You have been raising yourself well. Ah, yeah. When you're doing these things in the future, so you know, you should be looking a year ahead in terms of filing for things. I mean, that's a safe bet here in the States. Ah, okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. You're not the only person applying. Right, right. Stabbing and removing them, and also covering a few so they stay in. Neck kebabs. Yeah, well, I look forward to hearing the whole report. Tomorrow, I'm not sure I'm going to be here tomorrow. We have bingo tomorrow. I need to make sure people are watering tomorrow because I went and watered today and everything was like bone dry. I mean, not to the point of failure or wilt, but so I want to go down there tomorrow while I know there's going to be a bunch of people there and get them back on board with helping. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's something you should line up a lot earlier than you just did. So yeah, lesson learned. You must think 2 steps ahead of everybody, like a chess game. At least 2 steps ahead. Oh God, yeah. Yep, yep. The 2 worst. Absolutely. The way it gets so hot there. Stay away from the attic. Yeah. All right. So you're gonna go see her tomorrow. You already spoke with her, so you know your old room is not available. Did she say which ones were available? You were in the attic, but in the good rooms. So you had some ventilation, but not enough because you couldn't use the air fryer. First thing it did was make smoke and set off your alarm. So yeah, probably not. You're halfway through the summer, so I think a lot of people already have been involved with that. Let me go get some oil. Or maybe some soap. Oh, the toaster? Oh, what happened with the air fryer? You didn't get far with that. That's great. Now you want to manufacture the same look. Someone can always leave very suddenly and leave an opening just for you. Unless there's something better out there that you have not been exposed to yet. Ah, oh. Okay, and when things get tight, switch to green. Green. I don't know how your exams run, so none of that means anything to me in a logical manner. Oh, that's better. You have to shave the back of this. Oh. Yeah, that's a lot to consider. In all this, do you get a marketing course? Learning marketing? About marketing? High school, and then you do the national exams correspondent. Oh, I see. It sounds it. We definitely do not have that. At least we didn't when I was college age. Wow. You can do that? Ouch. Oh, shit. Oh, good, I didn't draw my own blood. I'm just gonna leave you down there right now. Okay. This is gonna have to be hand-shaped. I'm gonna have to do some more of this stabbing into place. But I've got all 3 layers stuck together now anyway. 4 petals on each layer. And I may have to cut these down a bit. In fact, I'm sure of it now. I made all 3 discs the same size. Up to 3 years. Oh, that's wonderful. I never would have guessed. All right, I know what's next. I have to make leaves. I am just gonna toss this because it's annoying. I just don't see myself using much of this. All right, let's get you out of my way. You as well. You over here until I can work with you later or tomorrow or the next day. Oh, good. It is. That's what I keep saying. The universe conspires to help you when you keep your head on right. People who believe the universe is ignoring them, or you have to do something extra special or be extra good or whatever, satisfy some kind of invisible requirements in order for you to get help from the universe. That's bullshit. The universe has always got everyone's back. It delivers what your vibration is, which is why you have to learn what that's about. And you are. Yesterday, I got to talk with an old friend from California who's now in Arizona. She was one of the first people to befriend me, and I her when I moved to California, got my first job working in a health food store. We later became roommates, and we've just, had to go our separate ways, like, when we got in different relationships and such. And periodically, we get together online or on a phone for what we used to call readings. Now, I don't do readings the way people think because I'm more of a channel. So I told her, so I can answer all these questions the old-fashioned way, but wouldn't you rather have the truth that belongs just to you, that nobody else can tell you? The truth available in the moment when you need it? So we had a really great, we talked for almost 3 hours. It was great. It's been a long time. So one of the things we covered is something I don't talk about here, although I did tell you about an instance, how to change your timeline. Well, it's not Santa Claus. Aren't you lucky? It's you, your higher self. Part of you that's never gone from the universe. It's always with you, behind you, like a giant angel, if you will. The part of you that always hears you. Always answers. The problem happens a lot is we are human. We've got busy brains and we want things. And we want material proof of things. And a lot of stuff, basically, well, the real action doesn't happen because of your physical stuff. It's happening on the energy side of things, which is why the first thing you want to address in any situation is where's your energy? What are you focused on? You can't force the universe. The fastest way to an end is to get happy. Life is not flowing upstream, but humans feel like if they don't fight upstream, they're not getting anywhere because they're comparing themselves to other people and other circumstances that they're not a part of. What about all of us who weren't brought up with Santa? My neighbors had Santa. I did not. Being a very logical child, I immediately questioned the issue of living in the city and no fireplaces for Santa Claus. I go, how does he get into your house? Of course, the movies take care of that. But we didn't have CG when I was growing up. My Santa Claus was more like Miracle on 34th Street. That's a very old black and white movie. With little Natalie Wood, who most of you do not know who she is at this point. So are you all ready for Mr. Shiny? Got your backdrop set, your lighting. Good connection check. Privacy check. Need, yeah, some of this. Let's put some soap. Just set it down. That is silk. Mary, are you still here? Anybody here who remembers the Crocodile Dundee movies and the concept of a walkabout? You've never seen the movies, It's an Aboriginal thing to do, I guess. When you've got something troubling you, or you just want to explore God's world, or however you term it, you literally just start walking, and you walk wherever you're led to walk by your own inner self. Okay. Hope it's not a bad one. All right. This is going to be cut into leaf shapes after it becomes fabric instead of loose fibers. So this is wool and sari silk. The light green threads are sari silk. That is silk that was taken from shredding used saris in India. Rather than waste all that beautiful silk, all the work it took to make it, it's torn up and broken down back into threads, the same ones that wove the fabric in the first place. Okay, Forrest Gump did an example of that. When he started walking, he had so much of emotional load, he needed to just keep walking. And he just started walking. And he stopped when he no longer needed to keep walking. And I think that's the basic idea behind a walkabout. It could be done months, weeks, years. There's no schedule attached to it. There's probably a lot more information than I have because my only source is 3 movies. Now, I enjoyed those movies. They were adventurous. They created this hilarious hero who, by the way, did another very funny movie with Cuba Gooding, Lightning Jack. That was very funny. And again, you know, he gets to play these kind of borderline, you know, well, and actually he's an outlaw in Lightning Jack. Yeah, Forrest Gump. I can't remember. I've only seen the movie once, so I'm not one of those people who would quote anything. But I do remember the running, and it's like I understand exactly why he had to do that. And I always said, you know, if the world blows apart and I end up homeless, I will go on a walkabout. For as long as it lasts, given, you know, my age and all that. Now, I do remember the part of the movie where he makes a really great living by dealing with shrimp. And when Rich and I went to Inner Harbor in Baltimore, we went to a Bubba Gump's restaurant and tried a bunch of shrimp. I have to say they were quite good, quite expensive. But it was nice to eat there in the shade, outdoors, in the harbor. So I guess we paid for the view. Oh, so we were just hungry, needed lunch. And that was one of the places that was like right there. Speaking of lunch, I think my body ran out of all the cold cereal I ate today. And I'm probably gonna make a potato cheese waffle. Now, I got so excited about all the greens that I have in the house right now. I ate too many of them yesterday. And no, I didn't get sick. I was just reminded, like, you could have probably had one less scallion at least. I love my greens. Yeah. And now that I know you can cook radishes for real, and it's not some cosmic joke, they really are delicious. What I also found out through my little bit of research is the radish greens are also a good green. And apparently once they're nice and clean, because they're sandy, when you wilt them, they have a taste similar to wilted arugula, which I love. And I actually have some of that in the refrigerator and had some of that the day before. I've been eating a lot of greens this week. Get them while they're fresh, right? And I got some really cool news. Now, I I showed you the plastic inserts I got for growing food in a jar, doing like salad greens and all. I told that man that number one, they're exactly what I wanted. I can't wait to plant them out, but I am going to teach a class because, with the upcoming food shortages and all that, I want the people in my building, anybody who's interested, to be able to feel the empowerment of growing something on their windowsill. Because we're going to be hardest hit during winter when the fuel costs, and all that. People are not going to have as much money for food, and there's going to be less of the food. So it's going to be more expensive. So we got to be ready. So I wrote up a proposal for the building manager to look over. And I don't think there'll be any problem with that. But this guy is going to send me some free inserts because I'm teaching how to do this. Because he wants people to know. He teaches it online, and that's when I came across his amazing inserts. As soon as I saw them, I was like, oh, this is the one. This is what I've been waiting for. And he smartly does not overproduce. He produces them as they're ordered. He's got a 3D printer. So there's no waste, I'm sure it helps him with keeping control of his space as well, because when you manufacture stuff and get it ready to ship, that's a lot of space in your space. That's why people end up with warehouses. So we'll see how many people sign up for it and how many the guy sends. And I had to let them know I'm not making any money on this. There's no profit at all. I'm just teaching how to do this so that, less likely to be hungry in the middle of winter. Hey, Gary. Just get home from work? I'm making material to make leaves for the flower I'm working on. Now, somewhere in here is the green silk, and I thought some of it was going to migrate upward a bit, and I don't see it at all. Oh, you've been sleeping. What happened? First edition. Oh my God. I hope it is. $7. $7, probably not a first edition. And again, there were a lot printed for the first edition because they believed in this from the start, the publishers. So nice. Now, oh yeah, then it's going to require some ingenious marketing on your part. Because you'll look up and know exactly how rare it is before you price it. Come on, don't fold over on me. We need your funny little edges. Okay. Act now, look later. I've never had any of the books. I have the first 4 movies. That's as far as I got. Yeah, that's not a lot of money. Then again, it depends on the condition, doesn't it? How many books are in the series? There's a bunch, right? Like 6 or 7? Which is awesome. Mine is ending at the 3rd. Well, then again, Michael can always carry it on if he wants. But my contribution will only be 3 books, assuming I finish the 3rd one. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Don't worry about that right now. You have a live chat coming up, and you should be making sure all that's in order. Good connection, comfortable place, your warm beverage, whatever you like to sip while you're talking. Yeah, that sounds right. The best one's when he finds out he's in the wizard school. He's rescued from under the staircase by Hagrid the giant. Yeah, oh, really? Cool. All right, I'm going to want some serious texture to this, and I'm starting to see some of the outlines of the silk. I'm hoping it's going to migrate up. I didn't cover it with that much wool, but, you know, each experiment is another experiment. I enjoyed the first 4 movies. Then there was one that bothered me. It was getting too dark. Goblet of Fire, I think, something like that. No, see, I was going to, when I started seeing the books come out, everybody's raving about them. It's like, well, this sounds like right up my alley. But when I sit down to read, once I'm hooked on something, it's like nonstop. So I was waiting for the book series to be finished so I could just buy the whole set, sit down and go from A to Z. But by the time it came out as a set, I had way too much going on in my life to even consider spending that much time reading. At least not the way I normally do. All right, we're going to go for the rough stuff. Bamboo. The bamboo torture treatment. This fills things so fast, it blows my mind. But you have to get it to a certain point before you can use this, because this is a rough. If you're new to the show and you're wondering, what am I keep looking over here? I'm looking at my phone so I can read the chat, because the computer with the big chat is outside of my range of vision now. The bamboo is also absorbing water, which is helping this. I should use the longer one I have instead of this, but where is it? Oh, right over there. Again, it's shrinking. Right? That's what I love about this art. It's primitive, but it uses modern stuff like bubble wrap to make it all happen way faster, which is remarkable. This is not hard work, it's just exercise. Oops. I really, well, I didn't garden today, so I was outside and I didn't pay attention to my steps. Because I was stepping very, very slowly, carrying heavy water. Now we're talking about pooling some funds and getting a hose. And one woman said, I'm getting rid of stuff in my house. I have room. I'll store that, because I said, where are we going to store it without it being stolen? Can't just leave the hose. Of course, she hasn't handled a wet hose in a while. I don't think she realizes that you bring a hose that you just used indoors, it's going to have water inside of it. And you don't want wet things stored in your house because it promotes mold. But I'm going to demonstrate when we have the hose how to make sure certain areas are drenched, because we've got bulbs planted 8 inches down. 8 inches. That is your typical gladiola bulb hole, and it takes a while for 8 inches of water to make it down there. So today when I went out there, so much was like, oh, so dry, so dry. It's like, we cannot have this or we're going to lose everything we planted. So I was out there in time to save the marigolds. Yesterday, somebody else, well, she thinks she watered. She did make sure the rose bush was well done, but I still watered that some today. I believe that one whole row of bulbs and marigolds were planted over a mole's hole. We're like, there's traffic going on underneath the bed. So when I pour the water in, I make sure I'm very specific so they know to dig a new tunnel that's not going to get drenched, because they will move. They won't have to move, but they can just move over to the sides of our plants instead of popping them out from the bottom. So today I saw proof that they're already working on that. So that was good. Maybe a little too dry for any migrating right now. All right, we're starting to get the silk giving it texture as this shrinks and the silk does not. So it's starting to pull it in. We're not done. I'm gonna have to wet this down a little bit and do that again. Okay. Now it's a good thing I'm going to take tomorrow off to do laundry and garden stuff, because I'm going to have to let my towels dry and let some of the humidity out of my apartment. So one day off is a good idea. colors go well. It's a little better. Bring up some of that. So how are your pancakes, Maui? This feels like fabric. Excuse me. With all this soap and a very stiff fabric, it will turn into more like a baby's blanket after the soap's washed out. All right. Let's go ahead and continue the felting process. Still hungry. All right, well, you had carbs. You have any wilting greens? Greens you can wilt. Throw them in the frying pan, you know, with a dab of oil or butter. All right, good. Well, hopefully tomorrow or the day after, we'll be wishing you congratulations. Now, I picked up 2 new balsamic vinegars. I have a feeling they're both going to be delicious, but there was a big price difference. One was $16 for a small bottle, and the other was half that. Can't wait to try them. But I have a few drops left of my other bottle, which was $17. And I say the price because balsamic vinegar can get very expensive. My stepfather turned me on to one. He paid $36 for that one bottle. It was a nice size bottle, though. I'm getting these little bottles, so I guess price-wise, I'm paying about the same that he paid, only a smaller quantity. It puts it in my price range. Also, it's like, to me, an investment. I absolutely love balsamic vinegar on greens and my salads, sometimes on sauteed vegetables. It's just very versatile. And now that more people are getting the idea of the different uses of different food items because of all these cooking shows, I'm seeing some more options out there. And like most well, any good balsamic vinegar, it's not cheap. But my curiosity is burning. What makes this one different? This one company's got 3 different kinds, and they're described all differently. It's like, all right, I have to know. Taste it. Tell me. All right, last time, and then we're gonna wash it. It's definitely shrinking. When we started, it was hanging off the edge, and now it's almost hanging off the edge. A little. I'm still in the 5,000s stepwise. I need to move my butt. Yep, I've been here for over 2 hours. I think it's time to treat myself to cooking. Washing the soap out and then cooking. Not cooking this, but cooking greens. Yep, I'm hungry now. I talked too lovingly about balsamic vinegar. So, any last questions or anything else? What is going on before I go and say adieu until tomorrow or the day after? Tuesday, I'll be back on Tuesday. I don't know, I might be here tomorrow late, but not likely. No questions. Okie dokie. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing how your reunion goes. Are you going to eat first? You have a little list of questions you don't want to forget to ask him in case natural convo doesn't go in the direction. I know, I'm so happy. How big is the universe? We don't know. However, science is working on those answers. There are different universes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what happens when two interesting and smart people get together. I'm happy for you, love. So, guys, you know how to find me if you need me. I am going to go make myself some good food. I think a potato cheese waffle. Maybe I'll do pancakes. I'll decide when I get in the kitchen and start playing with ingredients. Sweet dreams be yours, dear, if dreams there be. I'll be back on Tuesday. Definitely. So, my darlings, if you're not going to bed, well, still have a great rest of the